Ayan was a happy young man. He lived with his parents and little sister in a small but peaceful house. They didn't have much money, but they had love, laughter, and each other. Every evening, the family sat together for dinner, sharing jokes and stories. That night was the same. Ayan's mother made his favorite dish, chicken curry with rice. His father, Mr. Rahim, laughed loudly at a silly joke Ayan made. His little sister, Alina, was singing a song from school. Everything felt perfect. Suddenly, Ayan's phone rang. He looked at the screen. It was an unknown number. He picked it up and said, "Hello?" There was a long pause. Then a cold, deep voice said, "Tell your father to stop, or he will lose everything." Before Ayan could ask anything, the call ended. His smile disappeared. His heart beat fast. He looked at his father, who was still laughing with Alina. Should he say something? Or stay quiet? Who was it? His mother asked. Wrong number, Ayan lied, forcing a smile, but his mind was full of fear. The next morning, Ayan woke up, early to prepare for his college class. He heard loud banging on the front door. Bang, bang, bang! He ran downstairs. His mother opened the door. 5 police officers stood outside. "Mr. Rahim?" one officer asked. "Yes, I'm Rahim," his father said, confused. "You are under arrest for fraud and illegal business activities." Ayan's mother screamed. Alina cried loudly. Ayan stood frozen. "There must be a mistake," Ayan shouted. "My father didn't do anything." The officers didn't listen. They handcuffed Mr. Rahim and dragged him outside. Neighbors came, out of their homes, watching the scene. Some whispered, some shook their heads. Ayan felt like the ground had disappeared under his feet. The house felt empty without Mr. Rahim. Ayan's mother cried for hours. Alina didn't speak a word. Ayan tried to stay strong, but inside, he was breaking. He called his father's lawyer, but the man said, "I can't help you. This case is too dangerous." He called his father's best friend. "I'm sorry," the man said. "I have a family. I can't get involved." Even Ayan's close friend, Daniel, started ignoring his messages. The next day at college, students whispered when he walked by. Teachers looked at him with pity. A few even told him not to come back until the case was over. Ayan felt alone. Lost. That evening, he sat in his room staring at the wall. His phone was in his hand, but no one was calling. No one cared. He remembered the voice from the call. "Tell your father to stop, or he will lose everything." What did his father need to stop? What was happening? He got up and walked into his father's study room. It was a small space with a desk, some books, and a few files. He opened the drawers, hoping to find something that could explain the arrest. Nothing. He sat on the chair and leaned back. Suddenly, he heard a small click under the desk. He looked down. One of the wooden floor tiles looked loose. He carefully pulled it up. Under it, he found a small black file wrapped in plastic. His hands shook as he opened it. Inside were papers, photos, and names. He didn't understand everything, but one thing was clear. His father knew something big, something dangerous, and someone didn't want the truth to come out. Ayan took the file and hid it in his backpack. He walked back to his room and locked the door. Outside, he could hear Alina coughing and his mother whispering prayers. Inside, Ayan sat in silence, holding the file tight. He looked at the ceiling and whispered, "Why is this happening? What do I do now?" His world had broken in one day. His heart felt heavy. His eyes were full of tears, but his mind started to become clear. He knew one thing. He had to find the truth. No matter how dangerous, no matter how hard, he had to protect his family. The next morning, Ayan left the house, early. He walked to the police station to see his father. His feet were heavy, his heart even heavier. When he reached the station, a guard stopped him. "You can't see him," the guard said. "But he's my father," Ayan begged. "He is, under special investigation. No visitors allowed," the guard replied without emotion. Jan stood there for a moment, feeling helpless. He turned and walked away, fighting the tears in his eyes. At home, his mother was sitting on the prayer mat, her hands shaking as she prayed. Alina sat beside her, hugging a small teddy bear. Ayan didn't know what to say. He had always seen his father as a strong man, a hero. Now he was behind bars, and everyone around them was acting like they were criminals too. Later that day, Ayan tried calling his father's office. "Hello, I'm Mr. Rahim's son," he said. There was silence. On the other end, "I'm sorry, sir," the woman replied, her voice cold. "Your father no longer works here. We can't help you." Ayan's hands tightened around the phone. No one wanted to talk to him. No one wanted to help. He went to Daniel's house, his best friend. Daniel opened the door halfway. His eyes were nervous. "Ayan, you shouldn't come here," he whispered. "What? You're my best friend," Ayan said. "My dad told me to stay away from you," Daniel said, looking down. "He said your family is in trouble. Dangerous people are involved." Ayan stepped back, feeling like someone had punched him in the chest. Even his best friend had left him. For the next few days, Ayan looked for help. He visited 3 different lawyers. All of them said the same thing. "Sorry, the case is too dangerous. We can't take it." He posted online, asking for support, but most people only commented cruel words like "criminal's son" or "they all deserve it." Ayan felt like the whole world had turned against him. At night, he couldn't sleep. He sat alone, staring at the black file he had found in the floor. It had papers, secret names, and business documents he didn't understand. But one thing was clear. His father was hiding something serious, something that someone powerful wanted to bury. They had no money coming in, so Ayan did the only thing he could. He dropped out of college and started working. During the day, he delivered food on a bike. At night, he worked at a small cafe, washing dishes. His back hurt. His eyes burned from lack of sleep. But he didn't stop. He had to feed his mother and sister. He had to keep the lights on. Customers at the cafe whispered about him. Some even laughed behind his back. "That's the boy whose dad got arrested," one said. Ayan heard them, but said nothing. He kept his head down and worked harder. One night, as he walked home from work, a black car slowly passed by him. It stopped for a moment. Then the window rolled down, and a man inside said, "You're working hard, boy, but digging into the past will only bring pain." Before Ayan could respond, the car drove off into the darkness. He stood there, shaking. Someone was watching him. Someone knew what he was trying to do. That night he returned home, quietly climbed the stairs, and locked his room. He opened the file again. There was a paper he hadn't noticed before. An old letter with no name, only a line that read, "If I disappear, it means they finally got me." His father wrote that. Ayan stared at it for a long time. Tears filled his eyes, but he didn't let them fall. He walked to the mirror. He saw a tired boy with broken dreams, but he also saw something else, a fire in his eyes. He whispered to himself, "No one is standing with me, but I will stand, alone, if I have to." He looked back at the file. He knew this was only the beginning. The world had turned its back on him, but he wouldn't stop. He would find the truth, for his father, for his family, for himself. Ayan didn't sleep much after reading the letter from the black file. His father had written, "If I disappear, it means they finally got me." That one sentence changed everything. He now believed his father was innocent. Not only that, his father had known something dangerous. something that could get a person arrested, or worse. The next morning, Ayan sat in his father's study again. He opened the file and carefully looked at every paper inside. Some of the papers had names and dates, others showed money going in and out of fake company accounts. He didn't understand everything, but it looked like a secret business. A business that was not legal. One name kept showing up again and again, ZK Group. Ayan had never heard of it before. There was also a photo of his father standing with a group of men in suits. One of the men had his face crossed out in red ink. Who were these people? Later that day, Ayan visited a small internet cafe. He didn't have a computer at home, and he couldn't search from his phone safely. Someone might be watching. He typed ZK Group into the search bar. At first, nothing came up. Then, one article caught his eye. It was old, from 5 years ago. It talked about a construction company that was secretly involved in land stealing and government bribes. At the bottom of the article, there was a name. Reported by Mr. Rahim Whistleblower. Ayan's heart stopped for a second. His father had reported this company, so that's why they arrested him. His father wasn't a criminal. He was a truth-teller, a whistleblower, a brave man who stood up against something big. Suddenly, Ayan understood the phone call he received that night at dinner. Tell your father to stop. But his father didn't stop. So they punished him. They made him look guilty. They made people hate him. As Ayan walked home from the internet cafe, he looked around. Every sound, every shadow made him nervous. What if someone was following him again? He reached home safely, but something felt off. His mother said she had gone out to buy groceries, but when she came back, the front door was slightly open. Ayan rushed to his room. The black file was gone. His heart dropped. He looked around, pulled open the drawers, threw the blanket off the bed. Nothing. Then he saw a note on the table. Stop now, or next time we won't knock. His hands shook as he held the paper. They had been inside the house. They took the file. But luckily, Ayan had taken photos of all the papers on his phone. He still had the information. He had saved it in 3 different places, one on his phone, one on a memory card, and one on email. He wasn't going to give up that easily. That night, he sat in his room looking at the photos again. One paper showed something strange, a list of secret land deals. The buyers and sellers were using fake names, but he recognized one address. It was a building near his college. His father once said, "That place was meant to be a school. Now it's a private club for rich people." Ayan had thought it was just a complaint. But now he saw the truth. His father had tried to stop illegal deals. And someone powerful didn't want him to succeed. The next morning, Ayan made a decision. He went to meet a lawyer again. But not just any lawyer. This one had a reputation for helping people with tough cases. Her name was Miss Farah Khan. She listened carefully as Ayan showed her the photos and told her everything. When he finished, she said, "You are very brave, Ayan, but you're playing a dangerous game. These people have money, power, and friends in high places." "I know," Ayan said, "but I can't stop. My father tried to do the right thing. Now I have to finish what he started." Miss Farah looked at him and smiled softly. "I'll help you," she said, "but we have to be smart." Later that evening, as Ayan walked out of her office, he felt stronger. For the first time in days, he felt a small hope inside him. But just as he reached the street, he noticed something strange. A man was standing across the road, wearing a black cap and sunglasses. He wasn't moving. He wasn't doing anything, just watching. Ayan looked straight at him. The man slowly raised his phone and took a photo of Ayan. Then he walked away. Ayan's hands turned cold. They were still watching. The file may be gone, but the truth was still with him, and the people in the dark knew it. Ayan walked faster. His heart was beating hard as he moved through the crowded street. The man in the black cap was gone now, but the fear remained. He kept turning around, checking every corner. His eyes searched every face. Were they following him again? He didn't know, but he could feel it. Danger was close. By the time he reached home, it was already dark. His mother had made simple lentils and bread. Alina had drawn a picture of their father and placed it near the prayer rug. Ayan smiled at her and said, "That's beautiful." But inside, he was worried. He couldn't tell them about the man with the phone. It would scare them too much. He had to protect them, just like his father once protected them all. That night, while they slept, Ayan sat in his room, studying the photos of the stolen file again. He knew his father had risked everything to stop the corruption. Now, those same people were watching him, and if they knew about the lawyer, Miss Farah Khan, she could be in danger too. The next day, Ayan went back to the cafe where he worked. He served tea to customers with a smile, but his mind wasn't calm. He kept looking outside, waiting for something bad to happen. Then, just after sunset, a stranger walked in. Tall, quiet, dark jacket. No expression. He didn't order anything. He just sat in the back and stared at Ayan. Ayan pretended not to notice, but his heart dropped again. Another warning. He quickly sent a message to Miss Farah. "I think they're watching me again. Be careful." She replied 2 minutes later. "Understood. I'll move our meeting to a safer place tomorrow. Don't come to the office." Ayan looked up again. The man was still staring. Ayan knew he had to get out of there. After work, Ayan took the long way home. He walked through busy roads, turned into quiet alleys, and kept checking behind him. Then he saw it. A black car parked near a streetlight. Its engine was on. He froze. Then the car door opened. 3 men stepped out. Ayan didn't wait. He ran. His feet hit the ground fast and hard. He didn't know where he was going, just away. The men behind him shouted, "Hey, stop!" But he didn't stop. He ran through dark alleys, jumped over garbage bins, pushed past fences. His breath was heavy. His legs were burning. But fear gave him strength. Suddenly, he turned into a narrow path between 2 buildings. Dead end. He turned around. The 3 men were now walking toward him, trapped. Ayan looked around. There was a small staircase behind him leading to the roof. He didn't think. He just climbed. 1 step, 2 steps, 10 steps. He pulled himself up onto the rooftop. From there, he saw more rooftops, close together. He ran and jumped from one building to another. He slipped once but kept going. The men tried to follow, but they weren't fast enough. Ayan disappeared into the night. He finally stopped on a small rooftop behind a closed shop. He dropped to his knees, breathing heavily. His hands were shaking. His shirt was torn, but he was safe, for now. His phone buzzed. A message from Miss Farah. "Meet me tomorrow morning at location sent. It's safe." Ayan replied, "They chased me. I barely escaped, but I'm okay." She didn't reply immediately. He lay on the rooftop for a while, looking up at the stars. The city lights made it hard to see them clearly, but he found one bright star above him. He closed his eyes and whispered, "Papa, I won't give up. I promise." The next morning, Ayan wore a cap and dark glasses. He didn't want to be recognized. He walked through the streets like a shadow, careful with every step. He finally reached the meeting place, an old bookstore. Miss Farah was already waiting inside. She took him to a room in the back. It was quiet and hidden. "I read the documents again," she said. "Your father was building a strong case. But the people involved are dangerous. Some are in the police, some are in politics." "So what do we do?" Ayan asked. "We gather more proof, and we release it the right way, through safe channels, honest reporters, and trusted lawyers. But it won't be easy." "I'm ready," Ayan said. Miss Farah looked at him with serious eyes. "They'll come after you again," she said. "I don't care," he replied. "They took everything from me. Now I'll fight." As they left the bookstore, Ayan noticed something strange. A camera on a nearby building was turned toward them. It had a blinking red light. Someone was watching. Again. But this time, Ayan didn't run. He looked straight into the camera and whispered, "I'm not afraid anymore." The blinking red light from the camera was still on. Ayan looked directly at it and whispered, "I'm not afraid anymore." But deep inside, he knew the danger was growing. These people were not going to stop easily. Miss Farah noticed the camera, too. She placed her hand on Ayan's arm and said softly, "We need to move. Now." They walked quickly away from the bookstore. This time, they didn't go on the main road. They took narrow lanes, back streets, and hidden corners of the city. They finally reached a small, quiet house. It belonged to one of Miss Farah's trusted friends, an old journalist named Uncle Kaleem. Uncle Kaleem opened the door and smiled. He was in his late 60s with white hair and kind eyes. "Come inside," he said. "We don't have much time." Inside the house, it was quiet and simple. Old books lined the walls. A typewriter sat on the table. Ayan looked around with curiosity. Miss Farah said, "Kaleem used to write stories about corruption and crime, but after receiving threats, he stopped." Uncle Kaleem gave a small smile. "Sometimes silence is survival, but sometimes a voice in the shadows is more powerful than a loud crowd." He looked at Ayan. "You're the voice now," he said. Ayan nodded slowly. "I have all the photos and documents saved," Ayan said, taking out the memory card. "My father tried to expose them. Now it's my turn." Uncle Kaleem took the card, inserted it into his laptop, and started reading. For the next few hours, the room was filled with silence as the old journalist went through every photo, every paper, and every note. When he finally looked up, his face was pale. This is huge," he said. "There's enough proof here to bring down 5 government officers, 2 businessmen, and a senior police officer." Ayan's heart started beating faster. "Then let's tell the world." Uncle Kaleem shook his head. "It's not that simple. If we release this the wrong way, they'll shut it down. They'll say it's fake. And then they'll come for you again." Ayan clenched his fists. "So what do we do?" Miss Farah said. "We build a team. Quiet, smart, and honest people who still believe in truth. We prepare everything. Then we strike at the right moment." Ayan nodded. But then, something strange happened. The lights in the house flickered. Then, darkness. Total blackout. Uncle Kaleem jumped up. "That's not normal. This area rarely loses power." Miss Farah pulled Ayan away from the windows. From the shadows outside, a car engine started, then stopped. Ayan's breath caught in his throat. "They found us," Miss Farah whispered. "Quick, follow me." They went out the back door, through the garden, and into a narrow alley behind the house. Suddenly they heard footsteps. Fast, heavy. Someone was chasing them again. Uncle Kaleem pointed toward a small, metal gate. "That leads to the next street. Run!" Ayan and Miss Farah ran through it, while Uncle Kaleem stayed behind for a moment. They heard voices shouting, "Don't let them escape!" Ayan and Miss Farah didn't look back. They kept running, hearts pounding, lungs burning. They ran until they reached a busy road with cars and people. They disappeared into the crowd. Ayan looked around. "Where's Uncle Kaleem?" he asked. Worried, Miss Farah didn't answer. Her phone buzzed. She checked the message. It was from Uncle Kaleem. "I'm safe. I'll meet you at the press room tomorrow. Be ready. The world will hear your father's story." Ayan finally breathed again. Later that night, back in a hidden safe house, Ayan sat near the window, staring into the night. He thought of his father. He thought of the pain, the fear, the loneliness. But he also thought of the fire inside him now. He whispered to the stars again, "I'll make them see the truth, Papa. I swear." Then something unexpected happened. His phone rang. A hidden number. He answered. A deep voice said, "You're brave, boy. But bravery has a price. Walk away before we collect it." Click. The call ended. Ayan stared at the phone. He didn't cry. He didn't panic. He just said one sentence. "Let them come." Morning came slowly. The sky was still gray when Ayan opened his eyes. He hadn't slept much. His thoughts were loud, his heart was heavy, and the voice from the phone call still echoed in his mind. "Walk away before we collect the price." But Ayan had already decided. He would not walk away. At 9 a.m., Ayan met Miss Farah outside a closed printing shop. The shutters were half down, and a young man stood by the door, smoking nervously. He nodded when he saw them. "You're late," he said, then opened the door quickly and waved them inside. Inside, it wasn't really a printing shop anymore. Computers, microphones, lights, and cameras were set up all over the room. A small team of people sat around. They looked serious. No smiles, no small talk. This was Uncle Kalim's secret team. Journalists, activists, hackers, truth seekers. Each one of them had left their safe lives behind to fight for what was right. Ayan looked around. "Is this where we tell the world?" he asked. Uncle Kalim smiled from his chair near the camera. "Yes, but once we go live, there's no turning back." Miss Farah added, "They will come after us. Hard." Ayan didn't even blink. "I'm ready." They spent the next hour preparing. Everything. One girl edited the videos from Ayan's phone. Another added background information. Uncle Kalim wrote the script. Miss Farah arranged a backup server to keep the video live, even if it got taken down. Then, at exactly 10:37 a.m., the red light on the camera turned on. They went live. Uncle Kalim sat at the desk, looking into the camera. His voice was calm, clear, and full of truth. This is not just a story. This is a warning, a truth hidden for years. A man tried to stop corruption. Instead, they called him a criminal. His name is Rehan Ali, a father, a whistleblower, and a prisoner of lies. He paused. Then Ayan stepped into the frame. He stood beside the desk and looked into the lens. His hands were shaking a little, but his voice was steady. "My name is Ayan Rehan. I'm not a journalist. I'm not a hero. I'm just a son." He took a deep breath. "My father is innocent. He exposed illegal land deals, fake companies, and stolen money. The proof is here, all of it." The screen behind them began showing photos and documents. "We are sharing everything now," Ayan continued. "Not just with one person, not with one police station, but with the world." Within minutes, the video started spreading. People began watching it on their phones, sharing it with friends, posting it on social media. Some wrote, "Is this real? I remember Rehan Ali. Wasn't he arrested for fraud? So he was telling the truth all along?" News channels picked it up. A few honest reporters started asking questions. Police stations received hundreds of calls. The powerful people behind the lies were watching too, and they were furious. In a dark office, a man in a gray suit slammed his phone on the table. "Shut that video down," he shouted. "Shut it down now!" But it was too late. It was everywhere. Mirrors, backups, screenshots, recordings. The truth had escaped the cage. Back in the studio, Ayan and the team were still working. They released more videos, more documents, and voice notes of his father. Speaking about the crimes, they showed fake land maps, bank transfers, and emails between businessmen and government officers. One voice message from Rehan Ali played out loud. "If anything happens to me, it means they got scared. That means we're winning." Everyone in the room went silent. Some had tears in their eyes. Uncle Kalim nodded slowly. That man was a lion. Just as the third video was uploading, the power cut off. Everything went dark. A scream came from the back room. They found us. People grabbed their phones, hard drives, and cameras. Miss Farah shouted, "Everyone out! Use the escape plan!" Ayan held the memory card tightly in his hand as he ran with the others through a side door, then down a hidden tunnel under the old shop. They didn't know where they would go next, but they knew one thing. The truth was out, and the people were listening. Outside, in the city, protests began. Students shouted in the streets, "Free Rehan Ali! Punish the real criminals!" The people had been blind for too long, but now they were awake. That night, Ayan and Miss Farah sat on a rooftop, watching the city lights. They were hiding again, but something was different this time. The fear was still there, but so was hope. Miss Farah looked at him. "Your father would be proud." Ayan smiled. "He's not done yet. I'm going to get him out." She nodded. "Then we fight till the end." The city was not the same anymore. After Ayan's video went live, people began talking, sharing, and marching. The streets filled with voices demanding justice. Newspapers showed Rehan Ali's face again, this time not as a criminal, but as a hero. But the people in power were not silent. They were angry. They were planning. And Ayan knew it. That night, Ayan and Miss Farah stayed inside an old, abandoned library. It was dusty and dark, but safe for now. Ayan looked at the news on his phone. "They're trying to call the videos fake." Miss Farah replied, "They always do that first, deny everything, then they try to erase it. But this time, they can't. It's too late." Just then her phone rang. She answered quickly. It was Uncle Kaleem. His voice was low and serious. "They issued a warrant for Ayan's arrest. They're calling him a threat to national security." Miss Farah froze. "They're going to try and silence him, just like his father." Ayan didn't panic. He sat down slowly. "So, what now?" he asked. Uncle Kaleem replied, "Now we strike back." The next day, Miss Farah made a plan. "We need to take this to court, not just with documents, but with live witnesses." Ayan looked confused. "Who would dare speak the truth? Everyone's scared." She gave him a small smile. "Not everyone." That evening, in a secret basement, a small group gathered around Ayan. 5 people. All former workers from the offices involved in the corruption. One by one, they told their stories. A guard who saw fake files being burned. A clerk who signed illegal land papers under pressure. A secretary who recorded meetings without anyone knowing. They were scared, but they trusted Ayan. "Your father tried to protect us," one man said. "Now it's our turn." Miss Farah worked all night. She gathered the new evidence, listed the witnesses, and filed a petition to reopen Rehan Ali's case in court. By morning, the news broke again. Major case reopened. New evidence against powerful corrupt officials. This time, the truth had legal power. The court hearing was set for 3 days later, but danger was coming faster than justice. The corrupt. Officers were planning one final move to make Ayan disappear forever. That night, Miss Farah took Ayan to an underground safe house outside the city. "We'll bring you to the court in a police van with full protection," she said. But Ayan shook his head. "No," he said. "If I hide now, they win. I'll walk in through the front gate. Let the world see I'm not afraid." On the day of the court hearing, the crowd outside the courthouse was massive. Reporters, cameras, supporters, holding signs. "Free Rehan Ali." Truth cannot be silenced. Miss Farah walked beside Ayan. Her voice was firm. "Stay close. If anything feels wrong, tell me." Ayan nodded. His legs were shaking, but he kept walking. Inside the courtroom, the judge looked serious. The accused officials sat in silence, their lawyers whispering. Miss Farah stood up and spoke, with fire in her voice. She showed the documents, played the voice recordings, presented the witnesses. One by one, each person stood and told the truth. The judge listened. The crowd outside waited. Ayan sat quietly, staring at the chair where his father once sat, alone and accused. Now he wasn't alone anymore. After hours of hearing, the judge finally spoke. There is strong evidence that Rehan Ali was framed. This court will re-examine his case immediately. All accused officials are ordered to remain under investigation. Cheers broke out outside the courthouse. Ayan closed his eyes. Tears rolled down his cheeks. Miss Farah whispered, "This is just the beginning." But just as they stepped outside, a gunshot rang out. People screamed. Police rushed in. A man had tried to shoot Ayan, but missed. He was caught within seconds. Ayan stood still, shocked but alive. Miss Farah pulled him close. "They're getting desperate. That means we're winning." That night, Ayan stood in front of thousands of people gathered in the city square. A camera recorded every word. "My name is Ayan Rehan. I'm not afraid. Not anymore. We will fight, speak and rise until my father walks free, and until every corrupt man who hides behind power is brought into the light." The crowd cheered, the city roared, and somewhere inside a prison, Rehan Ali saw the news. He smiled. His son had become his voice. The courtroom was silent. For the first time in years, Rehan Ali stood in front of a judge, not as a criminal, but as a man seeking justice. His hands were shaking, but his eyes were full of strength. His son, Ayan, sat in the front row beside Miss Farah, watching every moment. It had been a long fight, full of danger, fear, and pain. But this was the moment they had been waiting for. The judge looked at Rehan Ali and asked, "Do you have anything to say before this court makes its decision?" Rehan took a deep breath. "Yes, Your Honor." He looked around the room. "I was not jailed because I stole anything. I was jailed because I tried to protect what belonged to the people. I was punished not for a crime, but for telling the truth." A soft murmur ran through the room. "My son," he continued, "risked his life to bring that truth to light. He is the reason I am standing here today." Ayan felt his eyes fill with tears. Miss Farah placed her hand gently on his shoulder. The judge nodded slowly. "I have reviewed the documents, listened to the witnesses, and seen the evidence." He paused. "Rehan Ali, this court declares you innocent of all charges. You are free." The room exploded with noise, cheers, claps, tears. Ayan stood up, ran forward, and hugged his father tightly. Rehan held him close, unable to speak for a moment. "My boy," he whispered, "you saved me." "No," Ayan replied. "You saved all of us first." Outside the court, thousands had gathered. When Rehan Ali stepped out of the building, people shouted his name. "Rehan Zindabad! Justice is alive! Ayan the Lion!" Reporters rushed in. Cameras flashed. The streets shook with celebration. But deep in the shadows, the enemies were still watching. They had lost the battle, but they weren't ready to give up the war. 2 days later, a secret meeting was held. The same corrupt leaders, businessmen, and officers who tried to bury the truth were now afraid. One of them said, "Rehan Ali must disappear, this time forever, and take that boy with him." But another warned, "No, the people are with them now. One wrong move, and we will lose everything." Fear had changed the game. The fire had spread. Meanwhile, Rehan, Ayan, Miss Farah, and Uncle Kaleem were planning their next step. "We won't stop here," Rehan said. "We'll create a public team, a group that watches the watchers. We'll teach others to speak up." Ayan smiled. "We'll start a truth movement. The next week, they launched a platform called The People's Voice. It gave space to everyday people, drivers, students, nurses, teachers, to report injustice. It protected them, guided them, and made sure their voices were heard. Very soon, the movement grew, from 1 city to 2, then 5, then the whole country. Rehan gave speeches at universities. Ayan spoke at rallies. Miss Farah trained young whistleblowers. Uncle Kaleem began writing again, this time without fear. One of his most famous lines was, when truth walks with courage, lies run with fear. But their journey wasn't perfect. There were still threats. Fake news, online attacks. One day, a Molotov cocktail was thrown into their office at midnight. It burned part of the wall, but no one was hurt. Rehan stood in front of the fire and said, "Let them burn the building. They cannot burn the truth." Months passed. Then one morning, Ayan received a letter. It was from a small village. A little girl had written, "My father worked in the same office where you exposed corruption. He used to cry every night. After your video, he spoke up. Now, he's safe. Thank you, Ayan Bhai." Ayan folded the letter and kept it in his wallet. That was his real reward. 1 year later, a stage was set in front of a huge crowd. The sun was setting behind them. Rehan Ali stood with Ayan, Miss Farah, and Uncle Kaleem. The host announced, "Today, we honor 4 heroes who gave their blood, their voice, and their hearts to bring back justice to our nation." Rehan stepped forward. "This fight is not mine alone. This is a fight for every voice that was ever silenced." He paused. "And I am proud to say, my son made me believe again." Ayan stepped forward, too. He looked out at the people, the flags, the light, the hope. He smiled and said just one line. "When life breaks you, break the silence. That's how you win." The crowd stood and clapped. Some cried, some cheered, all believed, because one boy broken by the world chose to rise and change it forever.